Okay, so while we figure out what's wrong with the setup, I'm going to start introducing myself. And, so I give a similar talk about 6 weeks back, I think, and I guess the organizers working so much that they want to do that. Basically, is figure out the again. But this one is very different from people who might have seen me before. So this is totally focused on Accenture's perspective on healthcare analytics. But before I went, just to introduce myself, I am the principal data scientist at the Data Science Center of Excellence at Accenture. I know the previous speaker had a question on defining data science, and I'm just going to start with that because that's a common question I get. So the question I get is a little different on management consulting world, which is like oftentimes there is a word phrase called management scientist, and then there is a statistician, and then there's the data scientist. And these groups of people, all of us do some kind of advanced analytics, and there is no red boundary that delineates what one does from the other. So the statistician in my world is somebody who is like die-hard, then deep statistician. Yes. Because they got degree in statistics and you can slice and dice a mathematical model and figure out like why there is some kind of heterogeneity in the data, like if there is a variance is inconsistent or if there is a variance something inside of it with the regression model, I expect him or her to explain. So that's my definition of statistician. Management scientist would be an econometrician who is can also model, and not very good models and analytical models. A data scientist, at least in my world, with a caveat, is someone who can build predictive models, machine learning models, and ingest and digest data coming in various forms and slice it and dice it and parse it and make some sense of it. So this is, I know it's a loose definition, but that's the definition that I go with. And that's pretty much what my team does. I work, again, this is not a recruiting talk, just describing what my team does. Okay. So that said, my background, I started in speech recognition and character recognition when I was still an open problem. That's how old I am. And I started in significant research. And then I got interested in human learning. So my PhD is in cognitive science. And I did do some clinical work related to cognitive science and applying computational neuroscience models to private patients. I did that for 2 years, and then I moved on to the job where I could build models across domains, not just healthcare, financial services, law enforcement agencies, retail, etc. So this helps me as a person because I like formulating problems and solving it. Every problem is unique. And my role is to sit with various clients and understand what exactly is it. For example, one of the projects that I am here is a client who wants to introduce a new pharmaceutical drug in the market. Now, this means they need to understand and slice and dice the market and get a sense for who are their focused patients and figure out like what kind of channels would be best to reach them. And this is definitely from my shows. It's an analytic project. There's so much volume of data in terms of people's social behavior and I guess because compared with the John Hancock insurance company, I mean, I live in Boston, all of Boston. So now, I think John Hancock might be one of the early insurance companies who decided to tap into customers' health profile. So for a rebate in their insurance price. And this is pretty common outside US, but in Boston News, I feel like they might be one of the early forerunners in this space. Again, here in the US, there's a lot more privacy laws, and that's pretty much the reason why it doesn't come up. But when you offer customers that, from an insurance company's perspective, when you offer like a rebate in their rate, you figure out how many hours they spend at the gym and how many miles they ran, etc. So this is quite appealing. So the reason I brought it up is oftentimes data privacy and the fundamental problem, and like the previous speaker was alluding to, is data is siloed and like it's integrating it gets really difficult with data privacy laws. And with these kind of new ways of acquiring more information about patients, it's kind of a free for all. And there is so much we could do to figure out how we can help our clients, again, from a consulting company's perspective. So this is a typical question I get, so I'm going to start with that first, and so that I can delineate my space, so that the rest of you know what you can get out of me. And again, please stop at any point of time if you have a question. It's easier when I answer a specific question then and there, because I'm trying to cover a wide spectrum of use cases and case studies here. And something might appeal to someone, and there's no way I'm biased to any specific use case or story. It's meant to be an impact decision. So, are we doing anything on geographical access or proprietary compounds or technology or breakthrough innovations? The answer is no. This is all done in pharmaceutical companies and life sciences companies. What we do try to do is analytics-driven optimization, like I was referring to earlier, talking of distinctive market strategy and finding out what is the best target profile of customers, what is the target profile customers, and how do we approach them for a specific use case. Again, earlier I talked about the drug, but the drug is not necessarily the case. Oftentimes it might be cost reduction, or it might be something about getting a better perspective of the clients from a provider perspective. And another thing which comes to my mind is one of the projects that I recently worked on is from a bank who has a small segment in small business healthcare banking. Now, they want to understand what the small clinics are doing and figure out like what are their risks involved from a bank's perspective. In my shoes, it's data science. Like there is so much more data that you can find about their clinics. I mean, small doctors, like two doctors running a clinic could be a customer. And there is so much information that's available about these doctors, like starting from city records, building permits, their CDC, any kind of academic correlate with that. And I guess you might be familiar with like a list of data sources, like there are average data sources I don't want to name, but there is so much data available to get the perspective of these clients. And the bank is like, okay, I need to know what's happening before it happens. Fair share. And that's a use case, that's a project that recently. So this, from a provider perspective, I wanted to kind of cover the spectrum in the sense, like I said earlier, you can think about different stakeholders. Is it the provider, or is it the payer, or is it government, or is it life science research company? There are different perspectives. And again, I've been in your shoes, okay? So, not in the recent past, but memorable past. So the purpose of my talk is also to kind of describe various use cases and maybe let's think more about the hackathon in terms of different problem scenarios that you might have thought about, maybe you're going to make some connections to something I'm saying, but that's the bigger purpose here. So I know this slide has a lot of text. Two more of those slides are more text than this slide, sorry for that. So there is the business analytics and the clinical analytics, so that's spanning from improving organizational performance all the way to improving health outcomes. And this is again from 100 feet above, it might sound very fuzzy, but there is specific use cases. For example, fraud detection, that's something that I've worked extensively on. Can somebody tell me what's the biggest problem in fraud detection? Yeah, but from a data science perspective. So,
It's not relatively rare.
Sorry?
Fraud is relatively rare.
True. That's one definitely is the case there.
Is it keeping up with new methods of fraud? So you can create a model.
Exactly. Precisely. So every time you have to keep up with the new method of fraud. Like when you build, let's say, a predictive model, right? You build a model to learn something, and you're predicting something that's likely to happen. And what you learn is what happened in the past, but that's not always going to happen, right? So that's the fundamental issue when you think about fraud. It's you have to think about it from a completely different perspective, and it's not predictive analytics anymore. And it's not outlier analysis either, right? Because everything is an outlier. Like for example, a few weeks back, I was in one country every day, I was listening to different clients, and then I realized that my bank was going to flag me because it should, right? And I mean, I'm an anomaly, but the bank doesn't know it, and they flagged me, right? And so there are going to be so many of these false positives from an outlier detection perspective. So it's, again, in other words, there are many needles in the haystack, and the way to think about it needs to be much more systematic, and it's not plug and play. For example, like, oh, I have something in Pega, I have these Python libraries that I can test this on. No, it's not plug and play. Okay, if it were plug and play, I guess I would have done my job. Okay, so it involves some level of, like I said earlier, my job is to understand what the problem is, figure out what kind of data is available, and how much of it is doable. So many times I actually raise my hand and say it's not possible to solve this. It's not black magic, okay? Like data science is it's not like a 14 pin and do it all and like everything works. No, it is it's just data driven. If you don't have the right data, you're not going to see anything interesting. That's pretty much how it works. But I guess most people in this room might appreciate it, but that's not global truth. Okay? That's the way the world works. And a few other use cases that I want to think about. I already referred to customer set reporting based on like getting opinion. Yeah, clinical document management, that's a really big area. I know in addition to the work that my team and Accenture what we do, I know like two of my friends who have like started companies in that area and figuring out like how to connect databases and with predictive analytics. So what I'm trying to cover here is what are the demand drivers like that. Again, for some of you who've been like around the block for a while, thought about healthcare and many this might sound very, might not sound very surprising, but because every box here is not just one model. Okay? Every box here is pretty much what I would call as an ensemble of models trying to figure out specific use cases within these. Like root cause of payment issues. Okay? Now, when you look at payment data, you have to look towards the people. Okay? A client is going to tell me that it is a fan in this segment. Okay? Now, that's pretty much what they see, right? And they're right in the sense that's pretty much what they are saying. But why it happened, and it's not going to be like they don't understand, and then you have to figure out what kind of data is there, what kind of model. Medical cost reduction, as I talked about, it's about this care quality improvement. This is kind of a big area up and coming, as you say. Payment innovation and consumerism. Increased revenue. Now, this is a little different from the cost effectiveness perspective because what we're trying to do is pricing optimization. And pricing optimization is not technically tied to just healthcare. It's across industries and customers. For several clients who all have clear ginormous expertise and done their pricing. Okay, we all want to believe that it's a systematic, it's a nice model that's right with this, but it's a beast. Okay? And to simplify that and to make sure that what is the best way to optimize across segments. For example, a few years ago, there was this article in New York Times about medical clinic. I think it was, the data was made public, and I was like, I just picked up some kind of, I think I picked up UTI, and that's kind of a common thing. And I figured out, at that point of time, I lived in San Diego, and I looked at what the same procedure, what are the different billing dates, billed to Medicare. And I think it varied somewhere between like $2,000 to $12,000. And this is all like, and again, bear in mind, people familiar with the CMS databases and be aware that all this data is public. Okay? Like the bill code, there's no way to identify you, but you can actually like slice and dice the data to figure out like where are these people who paid $12,000 for the same case and they didn't get admitted to the hospital, and all they needed was some kind of antibiotic shot. Like that's the typical remedy for UTI. Yes, like very common, but the cost is unbelievable. So that's just one other use case where like you might think about this as a self-evident use case, but when devil is in the details. So, I know this might be one of my most verbose slides, and again, this goes, I'm not going to read line by line, I'm going to let you guys read, and I'm just going to take a couple of scenarios and try to do a deep dive. So let's take the very first one, insights from observational data from our healthcare system to establish this treatment. Now, treatment optimization is a big thing. I know we started companies that like one of them is about treatment optimization. But it's quite interesting in the sense that there is so much in there are so many different perspectives that you can think about. That's what is so interesting in my case. Because like it's oftentimes it's a closely defined problem. Okay, like if you zoom in on diabetes type 2, okay, now like there's only so many things you can do, and there's so many things that you can't do, and it's quite a structured problem. Okay, as opposed to, let's say something that I worked on personally was to import EEG data from the scalp and try to build a predictive model to detect what you're trying to do. That is hard because EEG data is not stationary, and all the signal processing textbooks are written using speech and audio and really nice acoustic information, which is very different from EEG. Like for example, like if you put the dashboard here, the display is 10 meters, almost when you're getting the same signal. And then like there's so much noise at treatment, there is source localization, there is registration issues, there is so many issues in there that is going to come and share it once you start looking at it. So, and then in terms of patients, I was looking at handicap patients, and then like the handicap itself was a concern, right? Like the phantom pain and others, like it's hard to say what kind of phantom pain is affecting which part of the brain, and you don't know what's. You don't know what you don't know because this is definitely a black box. You already observe what you observe from EEG. Again, in terms of the bigger trends in my shoes, the pressure on price, efficiency, and administrative complexity is quite sheer. In the sense, I can say that the number of plans I've talked in topics is quite often I hear on this topic. Consumer engagement. And consumer engagement, people want to put it conventionally speaking, people think about it always from an insurance company's perspective because that's like a good reference point. But that's not always the case. Like there is customers want to have a sense of belonging to their insurance company as well, or like their provider. So there is more to it than the dollar number associated. And there are people who value that. Digital technologies and related data, again, quite self-evident. Healthcare purchasing will become a more retail activity. Okay. that's working out now. Um, so the three big themes in terms of the trends that I'm seeing, I guess we should be focusing on or thinking about. If I want you guys to think about in the immediate future or from the hackathon perspective is like, how do you deal with the big data in terms of the volume, velocity, and veracity? And like, how do you figure out the quality, right? Typical issue with healthcare data, and actually it applies to most financial services as well, is what is called as label noise. You know, almost everyone who's taken data science and reports, we have not heard this word before, because it's not thought about, because you often think about machine learning problem as, yeah, you want to build a model which is going to distribute half the knowledge or dimension half. But you know that it's a balance, you know for sure that doesn't happen. And then you build a predictive model and then you say, okay, given this new group is green in color, would we get all banana or if it's a small apple? You don't know. So the catch with real life data, big data particular data is where there is noise associated in getting those sources. Okay. So you build your analytical model and you're staring at it and you know your model sucks. That's all you will know. Because there is nothing else. There is absolutely nothing else you can pick up from that. And then you have to go back and figure out like where is it that this noise enters. And from a model building perspective, oftentimes there is a lot of literature and noise in the independent variables that they're trying to use to predict something. Right? But what you're trying to predict itself is if that has noise, like what are you trying to build? Like you have to figure out a way to deal with that. So that, in my world, is a big concern in terms of using trying to parse big data, how we use it. Personal is again the divide between digital and physical is blurring, and yes, a lot more devices and it's more stepping into the internet of things. Social, again, people want to think it's very different than what we already know, but it's pretty similar. For example, the project I was referring to earlier in terms of foreign company trying to do this in the the channels, we didn't know much about the channels when we started working. But it's easy to figure out people in Alabama and Texas and what their Facebook profiles look like as opposed to New York patients. Trust me, it's not rocket science, there's some level of kind of ask it to try kind of data. But the catch here is not just how to deal with what we see in social media, but it is how to parse this unstructured data and make some sense out of it. Because you need to know what you're looking for when you're building a model with any kind of unstructured data. That's the key here. And this is not specific to healthcare again, it spans business analytics, it spans risk analytics companies in every sphere. I guess the next few slides I might go a little fast and this is just to kind of highlight how much person health record and you can see what we're doing in various forms. And the IoT race, the surprising thing in my shoes in IoT and healthcare is the speed at which it entered healthcare. It's pretty fast. Again, like I said earlier, I've been around the block for a few years, and I guess we all have our own prediction, predictive models that what exactly is going to happen. But this one, they definitely jumped a lot more than some of the systems. And these are some of the IoT alliances in healthcare. Many of you might heard these names. Again, like I said, I lived in San Diego for a while. That's when I figured out what was happening in Qualcomm and Qualcomm's interest in using their platform for taking medical devices, etc. And how nowadays ITR is partnering with Google, and again Biogen is also partnering with Google. So there is a whole spectrum of use cases that these companies are. Sorry. Also, I kind of see it and feel like I'm going on a monologue. If you want to listen to me monologue more, then. The stakeholder implications of mobile health is expected. These are some of what I call as the management consulting numbers, but at the same time, again, I'm not here to sell these numbers. I'm here to talk about the use cases more specifically and how to think about the different problems that we'll be looking at for the platform. This slide I really love because the divide in the stakeholders is critical like that. Like the previous hackathon, I was here, it was like a 2-day event, and I talked to so many teams trying to figure out like what. All of us have a lot of new ideas, okay? Like if you take it out for a beer, I can give you like 15 ideas in like 5 minutes, and I'll also shoot down like 14 of them in the next 3 minutes. So we all have a lot of ideas. It's not like lack of ideas. It's to ground those ideas and figure out like why is it interesting, why is it useful. Okay? So that's one thing that I wanted you guys to think about in the next couple of days. And also think about from the stakeholders' perspective. Is it the provider or is it the player? Who's benefiting? Like, eventually, it's the consumer who should be benefiting. But like, what is the use case look like? I just want you guys to think about it above and beyond nutrition topic item. I can think about like a speech synesthesia project. Okay? It would be really cool. We can all convert into waste, and it would be a really cool thing. But speech synesthesia is not something that can't tie to any stakeholder. Okay? And synesthesia is a big thing. I mean, when I was in grad school, we researched a lot, and even now it's still research. And it's a cool topic. I mean, if you give me a week, I would definitely there is something very cool in that. But is that solving the bigger purpose? Okay? What exactly are you bringing to the table? So I just want to get. Again, this is just advanced telehealth benefits. Again, there used to be a case where it was 1-to-1, now it's many to one. And I thought it was just in Australia, but you know how Australian flying concerts were the early before them. It's so smart population. So, late 1960s, 70s, it's pretty much how they could go visit. So it used to be a big thing in Australia as so the genomics and omics and how to deal with genomic medicine are 3 different things. And the gene sequencing stuff I know has been widely discussed, politely put. But the catch is, how do you learn some of these correlations from behavioral data, right? The gene expression itself is a different discipline. Yeah, I'm not talking about that discipline. We're not here to talk. I'm not here to talk about that. But there is a lot of behavioral expression that we could pick up in this sheer volume of data that we're looking at and use that for genomics and omics. Adaptive learning part in genomic medicine is something that I'm very particularly interested in the sense, going back to the comment on fraud, right? You learn what you learn, but you also have to constantly learn. And how do you build a model that's not overlearning and it's not the classical outcome based on it. But at the same time, you need to know what you're trying to learn. And you can build like a multi-agent model which is going to learn from different perspectives and try to plug and play, but it's not usable because there is so many ways that these agent models can try to analyze the data. So again, omics, when I said behavioral and omics, this is what I was referring to in terms of figuring out primary molecular structures, like tying into a specific cases and figuring out like what is the different DNA that will survive. And most of it in the recent past has been what I call as anti-synaptic, and it's people feel blunt, but there's a lot of people who are silently doing it. Okay? They're not in the news, but I think there was a recent article on New York Times again about mother in Brooklyn, and it's pretty similar. I mean, the more you know, it's knowledge is power. So, I know I'm shifting gears a bit here. I guess this might be one of my last show and tell slides. After this, I might get into so what. I can talk about it with the art, but future with them. Users and check out their stuff. Care management analytics, like I said, this is something that Accenture does a lot, and this spans population health analytics, clinical performance management, also core gap tools for clinicians. And you can think of different use cases for each of these areas. For example, clinical performance management. And again, just think about the sheer number of people who you have to pass through and get an appointment or getting an MRI or whatever. It's really the same thing. And oftentimes there is no strict law. Like last week I had an X-ray and I was actually allowed to see my X-ray. It's definitely a no-no here. Like, because normally they don't let you see, but I know what I have an issue with my leg and I know exactly what I'm looking for. And now that I saw my X-ray, maybe I can just go for it and give this minute. So, again, it's going to reflect badly on the clinician, the radiologist, right? That's my point. Affecting clinical performance management. That is something to be studied a lot, and it is studied a lot, and getting a 360 view of each clinician and getting a sense for where is it that we can nudge them to improve their performance using analytics. Exposure to analysis. Yeah, so key challenges. This is completely, I think I'm going into the tail end of the talk. And the key challenges, like I said earlier, one is the siloed data, and I also covered non-standardized unstructured data. And I talked about unstructured data just from a social media perspective, but that's definitely not the only use case. And again, the number of NoSQL databases, like few years ago, it was only MongoDB. There was, actually with MongoDB, I'm not here to fill up MongoDB, but it's a lot more that has come up to figure out like how you want to deal with this unstructured data. And for me, it is a lot of data science in terms of figuring out like what is the deployment of what database I'm using. It's going to heavily limit me. And it's not just the database; it's also the hardware. Sometimes I know it's not on the slide. The under-invested data infrastructure and sources. So when you think of image analytics for like medical image analytics, I don't want to throw a lot if I'm trying to stream right. So in order to build a medical image analytics model, I don't think we can build one nowadays without a GPU. Okay, it's common sense for me, but it's not so like it took me like 2 weeks to convince that we needed we took the fastest GPU on Amazon Web Services for this, and just I technically roll on the floor and cried and said that unless we get that, we're not starting the project. Because that's important for me in the sense I don't want anybody, particularly my team, to be sitting there counting their fingers for a model because it's going to take a week. Especially with analytics, it takes that. Sometimes it takes 3 days to build a model. But there is sheer volume of data that kind of makes sense. So the infrastructure is key, and it's a challenge because to tell the story and tell people, convince people that this is what we need to do. It's a bit of a lack of better person overnight. Uncertain business value. This is what I was driving through and through the law in terms of use case. Who's a stakeholder? What is the business value that we're trying to address in this specific solution? And I guess the misalignments and there's a resistance, there's like that's omnipresenting. Is that I do not care, but from a data science perspective, in my shoes, I talk to so many people who think about data science as some kind of like you can solve all my problems, and I have to correct it and no, I can only solve some problems because it's contingent on the kind of data that we have. So there is this level of black magic thing that's maybe we're going to solve it because it's our data scientists and we can say that's how we put food on the table. I don't know. But there is definitely a lot of resistance in terms of putting this together. So that's the reason it's important to kind of tell the story in a way that it is not just fellow data scientists who are going to understand how it's everybody else. Like, what is the use case? Who's going to benefit? You don't have to put dollar numbers there. That's what somebody else will do. If you fancy doing that, that's fine too. But just think about it as a comprehensive story. When you think about this,
on a very high level, how is your work distributed between solving already problems that have been articulated versus finding a root cause of the problem?
So, let's say the client comes to me with fraud, essentially talk about fraud. Now, they just know that their balance sheet representation, that's just pretty much all it is. And you have to talk to them to figure out like, where is it, what kind of data to look at, and is it geography specific, and you ask like a series of questions to narrow it down, and then you figure out, okay, this is a particular kind of fraud. It could be a recent case, it was a bank where there's some particular kind of fraud called cross-code fraud. So that's what it really means is I'm going to keep paying my credit card bill regularly for 2 years or 3 years, for a period of time, so that the bank believes that I'm God due to mankind. And then I'm going to ask for a rise and credit limit. And guess what? This one to use it all up and disappear and disappear. This is a specific trend, it's a signature of these people who come in first out. There is a specific signature in the data, and there is a particular way that they always do it. So, but when we started this conversation, we had no idea we were talking about first out. Okay. We kind of narrow it down, then you understand the first out. And then comes the question of what kind of model are you trying to build. Is it going to be a shared out-there regression model, or is it going to be like a non-linear regression, or is it random forest, or is it an ensemble model? That depends on the data and the volume of data and what exactly we are focusing on. Does that answer it? So moving forward, I think this was also alluded by the previous speaker in terms of how do you put it all together? Okay. So this is something that I've spent a lot of years thinking about in various jobs, in various use cases, various clients, and there is this live stream of data coming in, and you also have to visualize it to tell a story. You also have to tell a story in terms of data. what is the interesting problem that you're solving, and like why does it have to be high voltage space, or why do you have to use strong or strong? These are all decisions that we all have to make every day, like gathering data science models with times. And this is an environment which we put it all together and say, okay, now how do you plug and play these different tools? And I know this slide talks a lot about SAS and R. Again, personally, I'm more Python person. This ecosystem is also meant to kind of give us slice of what exactly we in some of the Accenture products and stuff. Like I said, this is definitely not an improvement of Arun Python is pretty much what I personally like to use, and most of my teams also use SAS. That doesn't mean that we don't use anything else. It's like that. It's like from a consulting company's perspective, if the client is a super shop, then we are pretty super models. So in your shoes, when you're getting started, I just put this slide to kind of get a sense for the key concentrations and key capabilities and how you're going to sequence the transformation. I just want you guys to stare at it for a few seconds, just to kind of think about. I might be here tomorrow, I think, and I'll be happy to talk through any of this from a data scientist in a consulting company's perspective. I know you're going to hear a lot of different perspectives, but I'm trying to demarcate my perspective on what I can bring to the table, and I'll be happy to talk more. Again, this is one of my lessons from Peter Rucker. It's one of my, I think I only have 7 processes, it's one of the processes. He said that the slides. I really like this slide, which was, unless you quantify, you cannot do it. Okay. That's a key message. And what it means is, it's pretty simple. I mean, of course, you have to quantify, but when you think from a use case, like I said earlier, from a part, like by the time you understand that, it's just the kind of like what is the benefit. Those are the steps that are more challenging from a problem solving perspective. Okay? Hope I don't put many people to speak. Any questions?
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit more of your, just from a kind of personal perspective, how you transitioned into, like your experience transitioning into industry from
academic industry?
Yeah.
That wasn't easy. So, the number of yardsticks that you measure against in academia and industry is quite different. Like in academia, my boss is just happy for saving more money for research, and I publish papers. But I'm an engineer by training. For me, my gratification comes from building something that's required. So that's the reason I left academia. And in the industry, there is another reason in terms of it's quite easy to build it very well in the sense from consulting companies, as a data scientist, already found. It's not easy to deploy something because I'm actually deploying in a client's environment. Other clients environment. Right? I mean, they came to me because they have a problem and I solved it for them, and it's going to be deployed in their space. And that's quite a bit of a challenge because that's not your world, that's my world, and then you have to go and so there is a bit of, again, as you would expect, there is a bit of overtake, and typically I get this question many times, and I give people that besides me, there are people who done it. Any other questions?
Yeah, so also just because, particularly in healthcare, because it's a complex space, like there's a potential trade-off right between developing more domain knowledge versus kind of like being general, machine learning or data science person. In your perspective, like what do you where do you think things will be going? People will become more complete just generalist data scientists, any data is good, or like I'm a data scientist, but I really know like genomics, like I have this kind of specialized domain knowledge on it.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of generalists. Okay, that's because that's how I like to be, and because I like to be challenged in very different problems in different domains, and more or less my team is also like that. But sometimes it happens that when somebody in my team has done, like, let's say, 2 specific projects in genomics. Okay? Now, third time I get a similar claim, first time I'm going to send this one. Right? So, of course, this person is living. So, that's a quick answer to your question is I'm a believer in generalism from a data science perspective because it's how we solve the problem that matters. It's not the nitty-gritties of the data itself. And the data changes very quickly. And oftentimes clients don't know. Once, like many years back, I asked my client, this was insurance company, I think. I asked him, like, okay, you gave me the database, and this variable does it have said information? He said it has 60% of said information. I'm like, you could just politely say, I don't know, but I have a lot of respect for you if you just said, I don't know. But so the data change, I mean, it's true. What he said is true. There is 60% information because somehow the rule would change, or like the data format changed, or like something changed, and it wasn't consistent. So just if you dive into the data eccentricities, that's like a daytime job for most people. So I don't want to get into that in the sense that I need to know that to solve a given problem, but that's not something that I want to do from my daily credit.
So have Accenture and I guess other major industry players like have found a way to, because that's something that I'm always like, you talk to people like data munching and data handling is like half the job. Like that sounds miserable. I don't want to like deal with someone's random system output and like make it this nice standardized thing is most of the job. But you know, that there's a lot of people end up doing that. So are you saying that people like within Accenture at least you find like do you have a different team kind of doing data cleanup and you kind of
okay, I guess maybe the right way to say this is I have to do data cleanup in order to solve the problem. I just put something together on web analytics and the data was fine. I have to roll it up and stack it in a way that it would build models. And that I have to do because if I don't do that, I wouldn't know the different specifics and the variables, right? And I'm kind of old school in some ways, like I how many of you know what bivariate but I kind of look at those things. Google or Wikipedia if you don't use it because most people know this use it. So I like to look at them to get a sense of the data because it's important. A data scientist, like I keep saying, your model is only as good as the data is. And if you don't have an intuition for your data, yeah, technically you're screwed. That's not polite way to say that. And the intuition comes by looking at different kinds of data sources and everything. I mean, I'm definitely not going to build a regression model for fraud. I'm not going to build a random forest for consumer data management. Okay, and I know that because it just doesn't work. And if you spend like 2 minutes thinking about it, you'll also know that it won't work. But oftentimes the knee jerk reaction is, oh, let me just solve this problem. There's this random forest package. It's not how I need to fix it. That's not how it works. Unless you have a sense for what is it that you're solving, what is the data that you're using, it's a bold problem. That's nice. Any other questions? Apologies again for people who probably want to do something like my last talk. Last talk was I did a deep dive on specific use cases, and that was, but in this case, it's a little different. So I wanted to give a landing script of like, what are the different use cases, and make you guys think more in this case. So I kind of see a couple of similar cases, but besides that, yeah, I apologize if there was any. Yeah. You were expecting something similar. If there are no other questions, thanks guys.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much. Turn it on. Thank you so much. If we have a brief break for dinner, we can like orderly fashion help ourselves to some pizza. Okay, that's it, and then drinks are over in the kitchen. So that's all. Thank you so much.
I have like certain food allergies, so like I'm not able to. I'm supposed to be gluten-free and dairy-free. I'm not really good at rolling it, but even this is literally gluten-free and dairy. So probably should.
My background's in math, and so it's like, my dad grew up was like, okay, let's just, that's like, I love everything, but like, on the other hand, it's like, I mean, I'll visit the future, and then, on the internet, so it's like, let's right, but then, like, all right, this list of genes, and it's like, this involves the process, and you're like, okay, and then like, go, like, look at this, like, these make sense, particular disorder, or I don't have to, like, all right, how much, like, really, I'm not gonna get the need, how much knowledge base, this is really, this is a really great thing. And that was like, and I think you have to have to be
You know what's unfortunate? For my idea, that there's already a company.